We are more connected than ever before thanks to social media. But not all connections are good connections, and some can end in disaster. I'm counting down the top 10 scary social media disasters that could have been avoided here for you on IO. What is gravy, friends? Welcome back to another InformOverload Top 10. I'm Charlotte and you guys are potatoes. If you're offended about being called a potato, don't worry, it's a compliment. Subscribe for trending news updates that don't suck, top 10 lists that cure your boredom, and jokes your dad probably could have written better himself, and follow the IO team on social media so we can connect outside of YouTube. Let's slide on into number 10 with the Twitter argument. Twitter exchanges can get pretty heated sometimes. There's a lot you can say with 140 characters. Apparently, enough to cause someone to commit manslaughter. Jameg Blake and Kwame Dancy were childhood friends, best friends reportedly since they were 12, but they had a falling out over Twitter. Jameg Blake said that they used to argue a lot and he would usually back down, but one day he decided not to back down after he saw something Kwame wrote on Twitter to a friend. Kwame tweeted a threatening message and Jameg went over to his apartment, they lived on the same floor in the same building, and killed him with a shotgun. Then after he committed the murder, he immediately went on Twitter and tweeted, "Rest in peace, Kwame." Jameg pleaded guilty to manslaughter and was sentenced to 21 years in prison. At number 9 we have Rachel Wade. Rachel Wade and Sarah Ludman were, arch nemesis. For months, Sarah posted photos of herself on MySpace with her new boyfriend Josh. Something kinda normal. You get a boyfriend, you post some photos. Josh's ex-girlfriend Rachel Wade kept asking Sarah to stop posting the photos. She more like threatened Sarah. They harassed each other for months and left threatening voicemails. Here is a transcript of one of them. "Please tell me, Sarah, why you would be a dumb donkey brat and put a brand new picture of you and Josh at the beach on your MySpace. Seriously, I told you to watch your back and not to chill with him. I'm guaranteeing you that I'm going to murder you. I'm letting you know that now." Wade then went over to Sarah's house to confront her, which led to a physical altercation, where Rachel stabbed Sarah in the chest with a kitchen knife and watched as she died. Rachel was sentenced to 27 years in prison. At number 8, it's the Facebook love triangle. Two women, Tori Lynn Emery and Danielle Booth, got into a high-speed car chase after they were fighting on Facebook for months over some guy that was in prison. When Tori saw Danielle driving with a friend, she started chasing them in her car with her 3-year-old daughter in the back seat. Tori rammed the car in front of her several times until it ran a red light and was hit by a dump truck. Danielle's friend Abernathy, who was driving, passed away instantly and Danielle was in critical condition. According to Tori's mother, I quote, "The girl had been threatening on Facebook." But according to police, Booth had filed a report against her on Tuesday complaining that she was harassing and threatening her. Tori got 18 to 60 years for several charges, including child endangerment. At number 7 we have Edward Richardson. When you're changing your relationship status back to single, it can be pretty tough. You're basically announcing to everyone you know that you're on the market again. And also that your relationship ended. When Edward Richardson saw that his wife Sarah changed her relationship status to single, he freaked. Their marriage was already on the rocks and they were separated. Scott tried to contact her via Facebook, but when she didn't answer, she went to Sarah's parents' home where she had moved back in, broke in by breaking the front door window, and confronted her with a knife. He then tried to take his own life, but was arrested before he was able. He got 17 years. At number 6 is Hughstan Schlicker. In the days of MySpace, it seems like everyone was addicted to the site. It was the first social media site and people were like, they were into it. People were into it. Hughstan Schlicker was so addicted to it that when his father threatened to ban him from using it, he committed patricide with a 12-gauge shotgun. In the previous weeks, Schlicker was threatening to take his own life. On the day of the incident, he stayed home from school. When his father said that he would take away his internet, he decided to take both their lives, but instead only ended up killing his father. He called a friend who convinced him to turn himself in. He was sentenced to 20 years. Halfway there, at number 5 we have the death list. Back in August of 2010, 3 Colombian teenagers were found shot, but police had no motive or leads. 5 days later, the names of the deceased teens as well as 66 others were found on Facebook death lists. Another teen on the list was then killed 3 days later and then more lists began to pop up. All the teenagers on the list were tracked down and leaflets were placed on cars telling them to leave Porto Assis or they would be next. To this day, no one knows who made the list or who was responsible for the crimes, but the police suspect it was gang-related activity. In at number 4, Scott Humphrey. Now listen, I'm not a fan of the Facebook poke either. There was always something really weird about it. Like, yeah, I get that you're flirting with me, but like you're poking me? Like, oh, it's just so like schoolyard. Ugh. Anyways, such a weird way to get someone's attention. Back in 2014, 27-year-old Scott Humphrey was sent to jail after he beat up his friend Richard in a cab. Humphrey was upset because apparently Richard had poked his girlfriend on Facebook. Richard told Scott that he had no idea the woman was his girlfriend and meant no offense, but Scott kept punching. Richard became lightheaded from the blows, and when Scott punched him to the ground, he hit his head on the pavement. The injury ended up being fatal, and Scott got 4 years and 4 months for manslaughter. We have Natalia Burgess. In 2011, 27-year-old Natalia Burgess from New Zealand had spent several months making fake Facebook profiles using photos of attractive young women that she then used to reel in Christchurch schoolboys and start online relationships with. According to the press, after creating an attractive new profile, Natalia Burgess would sometimes kill the fictitious person, using her other personas to break the news. The schoolboys would then visit a blog for the fake woman where they could leave rest in peace messages. 40 boys in total were victims of Natalia Burgess. A New Zealand mother, Sophie Jarrett, actually found a memorial video created for someone called Abby claiming she had died, but it was her photographs. Natalia not only used photos of her, but put photos of her 3-year-old daughter in the video as well. Some of the boys that had been in touch with the fictitious woman were so distraught by the news she died that they booked plane tickets to go to her funeral. They bought flowers for her hospital room, and one boy even tried to off himself and was in the hospital because of it. In at number 2, we have Adam Mann. In 2010, chef Adam Mann was creeping his ex-wife's Facebook when he read taunting comments she had written about child support. She was trying to get Adam to contribute toward raising their son. She had told the CSA he lied about being unemployed and was then ordered to send payments of about £400. She updated her Facebook profile to say, "Now who's laughing? You've gone done big time by the CS, so leave us alone for good. Your son hates you and so do I." After reading the Facebook status, Adam then went to his ex-wife's house with a hammer and used it on her head. He also used a knife. Lisa Beverly's 5-year-old son was the one that found her on the day after the murder. And at number 1 on our list, it's Syko Sam. Richard Alden Samuel McCroskey III was a horrorcore rapper living in California who turned to MySpace to reach out to other horrorcore fans and promote his music. He started talking to 2 women, Emma Niederbrock and her friend Melanie Wells. Richard used the name Syko Sam, and under that name he would post some of his music with the lyrics like, "You're not the first, just to let you know, I've killed many people and I kill them real slow. It's the best feeling watching their last breath, stabbing and stabbing until there's nothing left." What a ray of sunshine. It seems in 2009, Syko Sam wanted to make his lyrics a reality if he hadn't done that already. He went to Emma's home in Farmville where he attacked Emma, Melanie, and her parents. Their bodies were found battered with a hammer as they slept. Syko Sam got life in prison. Well friends, there you have it. I hope this list has made you think twice about how you use social media. Usually we respond to comments at the end of our videos, but I don't think it's appropriate for this one. On behalf of IO, our hearts go out to all the victims, loved ones, and anyone affected by these incidents. That is it for me, and thanks for watching IO.